IEBN Sports, in cooperation with the Iowa High School Athletic Association, brings you live coverage of the 1976 Summer Baseball Championships. This afternoon's doubleheader ball game will determine the Class A and Class AA champions. From Marshalltown, Iowa, here is sportscaster Dave Etzel.
It's the culmination of the high school summer baseball season. Last month, over 480 teams began competing in sectional and district tournaments to earn a trip to the state finals. And now, after 3 days of intense state competition, only 4 teams remain. Good afternoon, I'm Dave Etzel, and today the 1A and 2A state baseball champions will be crowned. It's a beautiful day in Marshalltown for baseball, and I'm pleased to be working with 2 outstanding men from Iowa Athletics. First of all, Mo Kelly of the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This is a real feather in the hat of the association, this summer tournament, isn't it, Mo?
Well, Dave, we're very pleased that back in 1946, some of our board members and some of the administrative people in our office had the foresight to go ahead with a summer baseball program, which was unheard of at that time. And now it's grown and grown, and this year, believe it or not, there were only 20 of our member schools that did not field a team in summer competition.
Just shows again what a leader the association is in the nation. What about this tournament this year?
Well, I think that from a fan interest standpoint, it's certainly been the most exciting one that I've been associated with. We've had games offensively that have been won with a steal of home and with squeezed bunts and, of course, with lusty hitting. And defensively, we've had games end with a third out on a play at the plate from a throw in the outfield. So from a spectator standpoint, it's just been a great tournament.
Mo, it's nice to work with you again.
Happy to be here.
Dick Wagner, the coach at Burlington last year that brought Burlington to the state 2A championship. Dick, you're out of coaching now, but it's, I'm sure, kind of a busman's holiday.
Well, it's great to be here, Dave, to see these fine teams play, and we really have 2 super games in store for the viewers today.
What about these 2 1A teams competing for the title?
Well, it's really a dream game because we have the #1 rated team in the state, Monona, playing another highly rated team, St. John Bancroft. And what can you say about Bancroft? Here is Coach Vince Meyer in his 41st year as the head coach at Bancroft. He has coached such notables as Joe Hatton, who went with the Brooklyn Dodgers, and Dennis Menke, lately of the Cincinnati Reds. And he has a group of young boys, and they're playing their heart out for him. It just ought to be a great game. Both teams got into the finals by a 1-1 win, so it should be quite a game today.
Nice to work with you, Dick. Looking forward to it.
Same here, Dave.
So that's the setup for the 1976 Summer High School Championships. Behind us, the 2A consolation game is just wrapping up, and we'll be back in just a moment with the 1A championship game.
The history of the Olympic Games, from the plains of Marathon to the stadium in Munich, chronicling the winners, the almost winners, and the never quitters in a series of spectacular historical films. The Olympiad on PBS.
The Olympiad is back, now Sundays at 2 here on IEBN.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the 1A championship game teams, Monona MFL and Bancroft St. John. For Monona MFL, number 3, Jay Venter. Number 4, Chris Hull. Number 6, Steve Miller. Number 7, John Vangen. Number 8, Kevin Johnson. Number 9, Tobin Schweikert. Number 11, Lindsey Crambier. And number 12, Dan Vogt. The starting lineup in batting order for MFL. Number 2, the pitcher Randy Filling. Number 1, Larry Meyer, second base. Number 22, Tim Schultz, the catcher. Number 21, Randy Vogt, left field. Number 20, Mick Ferguson, center field. Number 16, Jim McCune, designated hitter. Number 15, Lanny Cleafoot, shortstop. Number 14, Scott Kirkeberg, right field. Number 26, Dennis Wagner, first base. And number 10, Pat Ballman, third base. And the MFL coach, Terry Heald. For Bancroft St. John. Number 6, Dave Bauer. Number 9, Ted Wesselman. Number 11, Charles Ingalls. Number 14, Tom Carpenter. Number 25, John Kaiser. Number 29, Tony Stork. Number 39, Kerry Schneider. Now the starting lineup and batting order for Bancroft St. John's. Number 3, Randy Ray, second base. Number 4, Brian Ray, catcher. Number 7, Doug Schultz, left field. Number 15, John Tilges, the pitcher. Number 16, Mike Ducey at first base. Number 10, Matt Menke, the shortstop. Number 17, Bruce Schultz, third base. Number 1, Mike Schultz, right field. Number 12, Tony Schneider, center field. And the Bancroft St. John's coach, Vince Meyer. Today's umpires at the plate, Jack Fisher, Cedar Falls. At first base, Marvin Bell of Van Horn. At second base, Terry Curtis, Williamsburg. And umpiring at third base, Richard Blumeyer, Waterloo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Bancroft St. John's comes into the game with a 37-12 record. Monona MFL with a record of 42-6. And Dick, it should be a good one.
Should be a great game. Both teams coming in with a one-run victory. The two losing teams played this afternoon, and they came out with a one-run game, so it should be a great game. And we have two very fine coaches, Vince Meyer with over 1,100 wins in his 41st year, one of the all-time great high school baseball coaches. Terry Heald, a much younger coach, of course, in his 10th year. And Terry just got his 200th win this year.
So there's MFL of Monona's route to the championship game this afternoon. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for Bancroft St. John's that MFL pitcher Randy Filling will have to face. Bancroft has beaten Breda St. Bernard by that one-run margin on Monday, and they defeated Burlington of Notre Dame yesterday afternoon 3-2, so they've had 2 one-run decisions getting to the finals. Also, Monona MFL has won both of their state tournament games by 1 run as well, beating Grundy and Rock Valley 3-2 in 8 innings yesterday. One of the interesting notes, too, is that Coach Vince Meyer of Bancroft St. John's, Dick has won 2 spring titles. He's won 6 fall championships, but he's not won a single summer title yet. So I'm sure he's looking forward to that.
I think there may be a reason for that, Dave. Bancroft, as I understand it, did not play summer ball for quite some time, and they've just gone into summer ball in the past several years. Mo, is that correct, or did they just have a Legion program up in the Bancroft area during the summer?
Well, as a matter of fact, Bancroft St. John's back in 1946 in our first summer tournament was a competitor, and they also were 1 year later.
Okay, let's take a look at the lineup now for Bancroft St. John's. Number 3, Randy Ray will be leading off, the second baseman. Number 4, Brian Ray, the catcher, bats second. Number 7, Doug Schultz in left field. Number 15, John Tilches, the pitcher. Number 16, Mike Ducey at first. Number 10, Matt Menke, the shortstop. Number 17, Bruce Schultz at third. Number 1, Mike Schultz in right. Number 39, Kerry Schneider, the center fielder. Pretty good hitting club, too. Their top hitters are Tilges at 385, Ducey at 344, and Doug Schultz at 330. Brian Ray hitting 322. This is Randy Ray leading off, number 3, the second baseman, just a sophomore. And Randy Filling, a senior, number 2 on the mound for Monona MFL. On the scoreboard, the home team is Monona MFL. So Bancroft St. John's leading off the top of the first inning. So here goes the 1A 1976 Summer Championship game. Filling checks with his catcher Schultz, and here's the first pitch. It's high. Ray checks the sign with the coach at first base. It's a great day. Sun popping in and out of the clouds. There's a strike on the outside corner. Good shot from a center fielder camera of Randy Filling. Randy Ray, just a sophomore.
Kind of the right-hand version of Freddie Potok up there, only about 5'6", and if I'm not mistaken, he got a bundle of hits the other day in the tournament.
Randy will be followed by his brother. There's ball 3. Count 3-1. Filling been wild outside. Dick, with your tournament experience, does it take a half an inning for the boys to get the butterflies out?
Oh, they really have them, and the waiting just before the game, that's what is really tough on the players and especially the coaches.
So the first batter goes to a full count. Randy Filling delivers. Randy Ray strikes out to start the 1A 76 championship game. Brother, number 4, Brian Ray, the catcher, a senior, hitting 325 on the season, a left-handed batter. He was a hitting hero in their first game, their 7-6 win over Breda St. Bernard. He's 4 for 6 in the tournament, scored 3 runs, batted in 3, and he takes a strike.
I understand there are 5 of these Ray boys, or have been, and I imagine since they're next-door neighbors to Vince, they've been getting a lot of personal instruction.
Ball is taken low. John Tilges, the pitcher for Bancroft St. John's comes in with a 19-6 record. There's a smash right back to the mound, trapped by Filling, and has an easy play. Brings up Doug Schultz, one of 3 Schultz in the starting lineup, 2 of whom are brothers and 1 cousin. Schultz wears number 7. Doug Schultz, the left fielder, also just a sophomore.
Filling got that one in the midsection pretty hard.
Walks around trying to shake off the effects. It did bounce. It was 1 hopper back to the mound, right in the midsection.
You know, Filling came into the state, I believe, with a record of 20-1, and it's amazing. That's a lot of victories, and he actually missed a couple of weeks of the season, I understand, with some back trouble. As a matter of fact, he wears a back brace when he pitches.
This is coming to you live from the Marshalltown Stadium, and this is the first of the 2 state championship games you'll be seeing this afternoon. In the consolation games this morning, Burlington, the Burlington Notre Dame Nikes defeated Rock Valley 2-1. Class A consolation game. And it looks like Filling's going to be ready to get his breath and get back in the on the mound again.
Filling's a nice lean pitcher out there. He has quite an impressive 3-year record, 50 wins and 13 losses.
Carroll Kemper defeated Des Moines Lincoln 4-1 in the 2A consolation game this morning. Finished about noon. Ball is taken high. They're at 2 away. That's the first pitch to Doug Schultz. He's 2 for 8 in the tournament, has scored a run, has 2 hits, and 1 run batted in. He fouls that pitch back over the stand. Count goes to 1-1. 2 away at the top of the first inning. Bancroft St. John's at bat and Monona MFL Bulldogs in the field. Monona was the favorite to get to the championship game after when they got to the state finals. Filling, incidentally, has pitched 137 innings with 221 strikeouts this year and an ERA of 1.6. But he's had a little control trouble in the first inning, and he's gone to 3-1. He'd gone to a full count on the leadoff batter, Randy Ray, before striking him out. There are 2 away. Doug Schultz waits. Filling winds. Left-hander comes in across the letters on the inside corner for another full count. How many pitches would you like to have your pitchers throw in a 7-inning game, Dick? Well, line foul down the right field line, out of play.
75 would be an ideal number. You wouldn't want to go beyond 90 or 100. The trouble is I've had that happen all too often. But I would say right now he's throwing an awful lot of pitches. And, of course, he's nervous. He's bound to be. And he's going to throw more pitches now than perhaps later. He'll get warm up and get the butterflies out.
There's a walk. Ball taken high on the full count. So Doug Schultz becomes the first base runner. Checks in at first base. And John Tilges, number 15, the pitcher, a senior. Batting .390 on the year, or .385 coming into the tournament. He's 3 for 7 in the tournament in the first 2 games. Batted in a run and pitched the relief yesterday in the win over Burlington Notre Dame. Ball taken low and inside. We've got a kind of a hazy sky. The sun is popping in and out, as we mentioned earlier. The wind is a little brisker now than it's been out of the northeast, so it's flowing from left field to right field, and isn't enough really to be a factor, I don't think, in the game so far, is it, Dick?
I don't believe so. I don't believe it's going to affect either the hitters or the pitchers.
Filling comes in outside on the stretch. Doug Schultz leading off at first base, being held on over there by Dennis Wagner. Bouncing ball out in front of the plate. It is a fair ball, and it's going to be close. He got it.
That was a very fine play down the third base line, and the first baseman made a good stretch for the ball.
Brian Ray leaping out to, or rather, Tim Schultz leaping out to get that ball and snapping that throw. Boy, that was...
There's the replay. Close play here.
So at the end of the first half of the first inning, the score is Bancroft St. John's nothing and Monona MFL nothing. We haven't as big a crowd this afternoon as we did for last night's semifinal action, but with Marshalltown in the championship game playing on its home field, we expect a pretty good-sized crowd, at least for the second game, and they're still coming in. Crowd estimated at something over 2,500 officially last night. Mo, is that about the figure?
Well, of course, we don't get our figures completely audited until later when the tickets are turned into our office, but the crowds, I'd say, this year have probably been the best that they've ever been, at least here at Marshalltown, since we've had the tournament in Marshalltown.
Monona MFL coming into this 1A championship game with a record of 42-6. All 6 of those losses, incidentally, were to 2A clubs. Terry Heald has a 3-year record of 97 wins and 23 losses at the Bulldogs School, and as we mentioned, they have been the favorites since the 8 1A teams were determined for the state tournament final.
Both of these schools apparently believe in playing as tough a schedule as they can, because not only Monona but Bancroft always plays many AA schools as well. I know this year they played Fort Dodge and Mason City and the Algona schools, and actually 8 of their losses were by only 1 run. So Vince apparently feels it pays off in the long run to get some of that good competition.
Probably one of the most famous rivalries in northern Iowa was between Bancroft and Mason City.
Let's
when
look at
Elmer
the
Starr was the coach in Mason City.
Excuse me. Let's look at the starting lineup that the pitcher John Tilgeth of Bancroft will be facing in Monona. Leading off will be Randy Filling, the pitcher. Larry Meyer, the second baseman. Be followed by Tim Schultz, the catcher. Cleanup hitter is Randy Vogt, the left fielder. Nick Ferguson, the center fielder. Jim McCune is the designated hitter. Lanny Cleefoot, the shortstop. Scott Kirkelberg in right field. Dennis Wagner at first base, and Pat Ballman is the third baseman.
That a little unusual, Dick, to have your pitcher as the leadoff man?
Yes, it is. He's going to do a lot of running, and it is unusual. I happen to have one at one time as leadoff hitter. Somebody that got wood on the ball, and apparently Randy Filling is just that type of individual.
Filling, the pitcher for Monona MFL, leading off. He's a senior. He's one of their leading hitters, 348 on the year. Tim Schultz, the third batter in the lineup, batted 420 on the season. 46 runs batted in. First pitch comes in high from John Tilgeth. Big right-hander for Bancroft St. John's. Tilgeth with a record of 19-6 coming into the game. Looks down, and here's the windup. Taken outside and away. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Class 1A championship game, Summer Iowa High School State Tournament. Monona Bulldogs at bat and Bancroft St. John's in the field. Filling squared the bunt and took it outside.
It's a good thing he didn't try to hit that ball. He was out of the batter's box on that last pitch.
Infield is pulled around to the right a little bit for this left-handed leadoff hitter. He's 1 for 5 in the tournament. He didn't really have any intention of bunting, just trying to do whatever he can to take the pitcher up a little, and it succeeds as Filling draws a walk to lead off the game. So both teams have had a runner by way of a base on balls. Brian Ray, the catcher, runs out to check with John Tilgeth on the mound as Randy Filling gets his jacket at first.
Vince Meyer just keeps them coming. You know, Bancroft was in the state tournament field a year ago, but he actually lost his 7 top players from that team, including his 3 top pitchers. Here they are, right back at you again.
Here's Larry Meyer, batting .386, 2 home runs, 24 RBIs. He's a second baseman, just a junior. That was a good pitch, and he got the bat on it just right. An inside pitch that he did get good wood on to sacrifice. So he moves Randy Filling to second. Put the ball about where he wanted to, made the third baseman come in and field it.
Here's the third baseman throwing the ball to first. A nice sacrifice bunt. And Filling had possible intentions of going to third as the bag was left unattended, but St. John's recuperated very quickly and got back.
Telges made a good pitch on that play, too, didn't he? Kept it inside and high, figuring the bunt. But still, he got the bat on it. And here's number 22, Tim Schultz, the catcher. Senior, batting .413. He's their leading home run hitter and leading RBI man as well. He's 2 for 6 in the tournament, fouled back out of play.
You can see what the idea is early in the game. As far as Monona is concerned, they're playing for 1 run in the first inning. That tells you something about what confidence they have in Randy Filling as a pitcher.
Schultz, the catcher, another left-handed batter, as Filling takes his lead off second. Pitch is taken outside.
Plus the fact that Randy is the runner at the present time, and I'm sure they don't want to run him excessively, and so they'll sacrifice him over and hope that they can get a base hit. Schultz here.
Schultz with his hands right down at the end of that bat, too. He hits a high pitch and fouls it high, and it will drift out of play. Down the left field line, chased by both Bruce Schultz, the third baseman. I'm going to have trouble with those because we've got a Schultz for Monona and 3 Schultz for Bancroft St. John. The ball was also chased over there by Doug Schultz, the left fielder. So Schultz, the batter, made 2 Schultz run a long ways to watch that foul pop up, drift out of play. There's one away. That one fouled straight back. Count is 2-2. There's no score. Monona MFL at bat. The runner at second is pitcher Randy Filling, taking his lead. The stretch by Tilchus, the Bancroft pitcher. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball inside. And Tim Schultz strikes out.
That was a tempting high curveball inside, and Tim went after it.
He got rid of a dangerous man there. Tim with 46 runs batted in only 26 games during regular season play.
Randy Vogt in the batter's box. Takes the ball. He's number 21, the left fielder. He's a senior. Good shot from our overhead camera behind the plate. Vogt crouches and takes it across the knees on the outside corner. Filling gets back to second. Being held on down there by Randy Ray. Vogt also a good hitter, as you could see. He had 2 squeeze bunts. Made a great catch yesterday to really be the hero of that game. Takes another strike. Same place. Vogt has 1 for 6. His first squeeze bunt yesterday tied the game, and his second one won it. Besides making that sensational catch. Bouncing foul down the third base line, out of play. Count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out, bottom of the first inning. John Tilges with a record of 19-6, and if he runs into trouble, I'm sure they won't hesitate bringing in Tom Carpenter, who has a record of 14-1. There's a bouncing single up the middle, and they're sending Filling home. And there is no play there. Play back at second, and Vogt is in. Going to second on the throw. Catcher could see that he wasn't going to have a play, and he went out and met it. Fired it low to second. So a good bouncing single over the mound across second base by Randy Vogt gives him the game's first RBI, and Monona goes out in front 1-0 in the bottom of the first inning. Tilges on the mound. Brian Ray had gone out, the catcher, to converse momentarily.
It was easy to see now why Randy Filling is a leadoff hitter. He got a good jump off of second base, and there wasn't any play at home. and Randy Vogt then went to second base on the throw in.
Here's Mick Ferguson, another good hitter, .331 with 6 home runs. He's just a junior. He's the center fielder. Takes it low, checks with Coach Terry Heel on the signal. 2 away, runner on second. Vogt replaced Filling down there on that hit. Filling scoring. Ball high. Ray stepping out across the plate as Ferguson steps back in. Ray trying to get his pitcher to keep him lower. Outfield pretty much straight away. On the outside corner. Mick Ferguson threw out the runner at the plate in the 7th inning of their first game against Grundy Center that ended the game with that double play. Caught the fly ball and threw the runner out. Ferguson didn't particularly like that strike call. Count has gone to 2-2.
And not so certain that some of the crowd liked it either, Dave.
Particularly the Monona crowd. Little bouncing ball handled over there by the third baseman, and the inning is over. Bruce Schultz making sure of that grab as it was rather slowly hit. Really, I think if Ferguson had it to do over again, he might have drawn the bat back. So at the end of the first complete inning of play, the score is Monona MFL 1 and Bancroft St. John's nothing. Back in a minute.
The history of the Olympic Games, from the plains of Marathon to the stadium in Munich, chronicling the winners, the almost winners, and the never quitters in a series of spectacular historical films. The Olympiad on PBS.
The Olympiad is back, now Sundays at 2 here on IEBN.
KIIN-TV, Channel 12, Iowa City, and KRIN-TV, Channel 32, Waterloo.
Ferguson ending the inning for Monona MFL, and that slowly hit ground ball fielded nicely, and the third baseman for Bancroft St. John's, you could see him settle that ball into the glove, make sure he had it, because we've seen in earlier games today, particularly the consolation games, the boys were prone to throw just before the ball got to them, and it's good to see him watch that ball into the glove and then fire it to first. So well played on what would appear to be a rather routine bouncing ball, but still it can make you humble sometimes. Top of the second inning, leading off is Mike Ducey, number 16, first baseman for Bancroft St. John's. Takes the breaking pitch for a strike. Nice breeze blowing. It's a very comfortable day in Marshalltown. Class 1A championship game. Filling delivers, and the count is 1-1. Ducey, a junior, .344 hitter on the year. Takes that one high and away. Been at bat 8 times in the tournament in the first 2 games. Scored a run, got 3 hits, and is hitting .375 in the state tournament. Ball 3 inside.
When Mike Ducey looks for a sign, he looks over at the dugout. Perhaps our cameras can get a shot of Vince Meyer, who stands at the corner of the dugout and gets the sign. The players get the sign from Vince, and he's been there for 41 years.
Ducey draws the walk on the 3-1 count, being held on at first by Dennis Wagner. And the batter is Matt Minke, number 10, shortstop. He's a junior, .253 hitter on the year. He's 2 for 5 in the tournament. Scored a run and has batted in a run. Sent the sacrifice straight out to the mound, and it's completed. Well, it looks like Coach Meyer may be playing for that 1 run early in the game, too.
Well, Vince told me last night that when he sends a boy up to bunt, he has 3 strikes, and if he doesn't lay the bunt down in 3 strikes, he comes back disgraced. In other words, he'll go on a bunt on even the 3rd strike. So they're playing for 1 run. That's how much confidence each of these coaches have in their pitchers.
Bruce Schultz, third baseman, the batter. Takes a strike. Fastball in the outside corner, keeping it low. Schultz, a 205 hitter on the year, but he scored a run, had a hit in the tournament in 4 official at-bats. Filling takes a stretch and eyes the runner at second base. There's 1 out. Ball is low. Getting back to second is Ducey. Checking his shortstop. Back on the mound, Randy Filling. Takes a stretch. Fouled. A ball and 2 strikes. Monona MFL leading Bancroft St. John's 1-0 in the top of the 2nd inning. 1 out. With Mike Ducey, the base runner, at second for the Johnnies. And Bruce Schultz, third baseman, in the batter's box. Ballman, the third baseman, in fairly tight, too, as Schultz swings and misses, striking out. Second strikeout for Filling. That brings up Mike Schultz, number 1 right fielder. He's just a freshman. Batted .231 this year in the Bancroft lineup. St. John's coming in with a 37-12 record. They lost last year in the semifinals 2-1 to the eventual state summer champion, Granville Spalding. And then Bancroft came back to win the consolation game. There's a strike, breaking ball across the inside corner. Schultz watched it go by, and he's even at 1-1. Second baseman cuts in behind the runner, but there's no play, and there's a line drive, dead center field, pulled down, and they're out of the inning. So the Monona MFL team coming up with another walk, but keeping the Bancroft team from denting home plate. As that line drive hit to straightaway center field, pulled in by Mick Ferguson, retires the side. So at the end of an inning and a half, it's Monona MFL 1 and Bancroft St. John's 0. The wind is, we've noticed today, has switched almost completely 360 degrees from the start of that first consolation game this morning. It was from the southwest and now has switched clear around, so it's from the northeast and seems to be picking up a little bit, although it's not quite as windy as yesterday.
This ought to help pitchers as far as their curveball. A right-handed pitcher's curveball should break down on account of the wind right now. In fact, it might help a left-hander too, because he'll be throwing into the wind, and the ball should be able to break down a lot better as a result. The great batter's background here, as you can see by the picture, which was just shown, it's all green, and when the batter's looking at green, this certainly will be a great help to them in finding the ball when it comes away from the pitcher.
John Tilges has won one of the 2 games that Bancroft has won in the tournament so far. He's 19-6 on the year. And leading off for the Monona MFL Bulldogs is Jim McEwen. Takes the ball low. McEwen, number 16. He's the designated hitter, sophomore. He's 1 for 5 in the tournament. No runs scored or runs batted in.
This is the first year in high school ball for the designated hitter. Dick, what do you think?
I've always advocated it. I think it's a good rule and gives more boys a chance to play. I'm sure there'll probably be some refinement of the rule, but I think it's a great idea.
McEwen wants to bite at that breaking ball. It was close to where the previous pitch was, and it was a called strike, but this one breaks away and almost into the dirt, so the count evens up at 2-2. McEwen leading off the bottom of the 2nd for Monona. The bouncing ball to the first baseman. Bancroft St. John's Mike Ducey handles it alone. And there's one away.
If there was a noise that you heard, it was the ping of the metal bats that most of the players are using.
Bounces it down to the first baseman, who grabs it easily and then can look up and see if he's got time himself and takes it himself. Doesn't risk that throw. Here's Kirkeberg, batting .257. A base hit. The second hit for Monona MFL. Kirkeberg, Scott Kirkeberg, right fielder, junior, on first base. And brings up, there's that bouncing ball just out of the reach of everybody.
Notice the center fielder got in front of the ball there. Even though he booted the ball, he still stayed in front of it and prevented it from going past. It's an awfully lonely feeling if you miss a ball in the outfield and let it go past you.
Dennis Wagner, number 26, first baseman, a junior, takes a strike from the first offering by John Tilges. Big right-hander for the Bancroft Johnnies. Ball is a little high.
Wagner, of course, is the number 2 pitcher, and he has almost as good a record as Filling. He was 18-3 during regular season and won a game here in the tournament.
Ball breaks a little outside, and the count goes to 2-1. There's one away in the bottom of the second.
No relation, Dave.
He's referring to Dennis Wagner. Batter, bounces it to the shortstop, and they boost it, and then it bounces just out of his reach, so he didn't have a chance to get the force play at second either. Shortstop Matt Minke. Pretty sticky-fingered shortstop ordinarily, but it came up and it looked like it hit the fingers of the glove, just bounced out. Just eluded his fingertip and his grasp, as you can see.
It was a tough stop. He played it on his right side, and by the time he picked it up, he was unable to come up with a play.
There's one out, runners on first and second.
Monona is a club that does a little traveling. This year they took an overnight trip up to Fort Dodge to play a good St. Edmunds team.
Everybody I've talked to has spoken very highly of Fort Dodge St. Edmunds this year. They said they had 3 very fine pitchers on their staff.
Batter is Pat Ballman, number 10, a left-hander, third baseman. He also is just a sophomore. Bouncing ball pulled out of the pitcher's glove and booted by Mackey. Clear over to the first base foul line behind first base, and there comes Kirkeberg in to score. So let's see. They're giving him an error. Bouncing ball just eludes the pitcher's glove.
You'd have to call that a boot because he kicked it.
That's a tough play. He was watching the bag and watching the bounce of the ball to try to time it for the play at second, and the ball just bounced away from him, and then he looked like he kicked it way over to the foul line behind first base. So poor Matt Menke comes up with his second error on consecutive plays and lets Pleafoot score. Kirkeberg ends up at third, and Ballman ends up at second before Mike Ducey, the Bancroft St. John's first baseman, can retrieve the ball and get it back into the infield.
I'm sure Vince Meyer is out there calming his players down. You know, there's actually a love affair with his players. They just love that man, and he really gets the best out of them, and I'm sure that they're going to try to get out of this jam that they're in. They're going to play in for the play at the plate. And we could see a squeeze here now because it's all set up. We have a one-out situation. Possible squeeze of Randy Filling.
Ball is taken low and away by Filling, the pitcher, who walked and scored in the first inning. 1 out, a run in. Filling with 27 RBIs, the pitcher who leads off for the Bulldogs. Takes that one low and away, bounces away, but Brian Ray keeps it in front of him and checks the runner and sees that the ball is in eyesight and only about 6 or 8 feet to his right. We've got a run in. There's 1 out and runners on second and third. And the batter is the leadoff man for Monona, Randy Filling. Stretch takes a strike. In that 1A cancellation game earlier today, Burlington Notre Dame Nikes defeated Rock Valley 2-1 in a real thriller. Ball just outside. Score is Monona MFL 2, Bancroft St. John's nothing. In the bottom of the second inning with Monona batting, runners at second and third, and only 1 out. Count 3-1 on the batter. There's strike 2. Good fastball on the inside corner. Right where Tilgers wanted it, I'm sure. And I would guess that if he could call his shot, he'd put it in that same place again this time. It was close, but a little low, and that loads him up.
Now, there's several schools of thought on this. Actually, by walking the pitcher, you load the bases, have a force at any base, and at the plate. And also, you make the pitcher stand out on the diamond for the second straight inning. And that might have an effect on Filling.
Over at third base, number 26, Dennis Wagner. At second base is Pat Bowman. And at first base is number 2, Randy Filling, the pitcher, getting his jacket on. Bases loaded, 1 out. And the pitcher for Bancroft St. John's, John Tilgers, apparently is going to stretch anyway, Dick.
Well, Tom Carpenter pitched quite a bit yesterday, and although John Tilgers came in to save the game against Notre Dame.
There's a strike. Monona already has a run in, leading 2-0, and they've got the bases loaded with 1 away. The batter, Larry Meyer, who sacrificed in the first inning, takes it outside, 1-1. Meyer, a junior, second baseman for the Bulldogs. There's a line drive single into straightaway center field. 1 run is in. Comes another run digging for the plate. There's no play. And Monona is ahead 4-0. He just hit it where it was, right down the middle.
Down 4-0, Vince Meyer has to be real concerned because Monona's a real good defensive ball club. Their coach told me that the 2 errors they had the other night is the first errors they've had in many, many, many ball games.
There's Vince over there behind the screen in front of the Bancroft St. John's bench, and I'm sure he has to be terribly concerned down 4-0. Ball is low to Tim Schultz, the catcher, struck out in the first inning.
Didn't this happen the other night against Breda, Mo?
Yes.
Schultz 2 for 6. Long fly ball, but it's going to be handled, it looks like. And the runner advances from second to third, Filling advancing after the catch. Long fly by Tim Schultz to straightaway center field. And Schneider had to drift all the way back to the fence. Well, it's not quite as close as I thought, but he's back there a good bit. And the wind didn't help that one at all either.
That was a good fundamental catch and just excellent camera work on that.
There are 2 down now. Monona with runners at first and third. Filling advancing after the catch, and Randy Vogt is the batter. Foul ball as Meyer broke for second.
Keep in mind that Randy Filling has been on the base both times early in this game, has been doing a lot of running, and this may have an effect later in the game if Bancroft can stay close.
Vogt, the batter, count of 2 strikes. pops this one up on the infield. He batted in the first run in the first inning. First baseman calls for it and handles it. Bob up to Mike Ducey. So Monona comes out of the inning with 3 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors on Bancroft St. John's, and they leave 2 men on base. So we're at the end of 2 innings of play in the State 1A Summer Championship. As you see Mike Ducey backing up, calling for it, and taking it over his head to retire the side in the second inning. So at the end of 2 innings of play, score is Monona MFL 4 and Bancroft St. John's nothing.
Do you want a close-up view of the 120-mile-an-hour serve of Roscoe Tanner, the magnificent topspin of Bjorn Borg and Guillermo Vilas? Come with us on PBS as we follow the summer tennis tour from Washington to Toronto to Boston. You'll have a close-up view of these fine players and more as they compete for the singles and doubles crowns of 6 major tournaments. Grand Prix Tennis Weekly on PBS.
It's Tennis from Columbus, Monday at 7 here on...
Mo, it really has been a series for the fans, hasn't it? I think out of the first 14 games, we've had 7 one-run decisions and 2 two-run games and 3 extra innings. It's been a good fan series.
Oh, it certainly has. And then another thing, you can't help but feel sorry for some of the teams that are watching that thought would be here, conference champions and various other good clubs that were highly rated during the season. But I think that adds some to the tournament, too, when you get some surprise teams in and they come up with a win or two that is unexpected.
Tom Carpenter is warming up in the Bancroft St. John's bullpen, so with a record of 14-1, I'm sure they won't hesitate bringing him in. Tom is down the left field line.
You know, ironically, both state champions from last year were eliminated in the first game of their tournament this year. Granville lost to Floyd Valley of Alton 1-0, and Burlington lost to Fort Madison 7-4.
Number 10 is, or rather number 12 for Bancroft St. John's is Tony Schneider. Leading off the top of the 3rd inning for Bancroft St. John's.
I believe the catcher took a ball that time, and he's a little bit in pain, but I think he'll be all right.
Call was a strike to Schneider for Bancroft, leading off the top of the 3rd, and Filling keeps warm by playing catch with his 3rd baseman. Here comes Coach Terry Heald out to... Here's that pitch. Let's see if we can follow. Ball just barely tipped off the bat.
There is a rule in high school ball that you have to have certain types of protective equipment when you catch, and the failure to have that protective equipment could mean ejection from the game. I'm sure that the Monona catcher is well protected in this particular case.
Speaking about equipment, too, Dick, I've noticed that at least 2 of the teams have not been wearing spikes. They're using corrugated rubber soccer shoes or something close to that. Does that surprise you?
No, this is actually pretty good weather for this type of shoe. However, if we would have had a rain and the field would have been a little soggy, that shoe would not be a good type of shoe to use. However, since we have a dry field, I would have to say a well-kept field by the Marshalltown people, then the soccer shoe certainly would be apropos for this type of game.
Okay. Bancroft St. John's at bat. The leadoff man is Tony Schneider, who has a ball and a strike now. Sorry, 2 strikes. Taken 2. The first pitch was fouled off. That one's a called strike 2. The catcher, Tim Schultz, really was hurt, shaken off the effects of that foul tip, and is back behind the plate, and Filling strikes out Schneider. That's his 3rd strikeout. And it brings up number 3, the leadoff hitter, Randy Ray. second baseman. He struck out leading off the game. Ball is outside. Filling has had started off the game with some control problems, worked it 2 full counts. Walked a man in the second inning. So the 2 walks, the only base runners that Bancroft St. John's has had so far in the game. Randy Ray, second baseman, right-handed batter, 1 for 7 in the series, takes that one low and inside. Scored a run for Bancroft earlier. They beat Breda St. Bernard 7-6 and Burlington Notre Dame 3-2. 2 one-run games, and Monona had also 2 one-run games. There's ball 4. So Bancroft starting, hoping to get a rally started. They're down 4-0 in the top of the 3rd inning. The batter is Brian Ray, Randy's brother. Brian, the catcher, takes a strike. Filling taking his time on the mound. Big left-hander has been on the bases both times he's batted. There's a up back line drive to the shortstop, and they may have a double play now. They got it. Well, it looked as if Randy Ray thought the ball was going to be over the shortstop's head.
Randy Ray actually became a spectator while he was off the base, and this is how he got caught. There's the catch. And Randy was watching the ball. He forgot all about getting back to the base, and it wasn't even close.
So Lanny Cleefoot, seeing the runner straight off too far, snaps that throw over to first base and gets Monona MFL out of the inning. So as we know, to go now into the bottom of the 3rd, the score Monona MFL 4 and St. John's of Bancroft nothing. By Randy Filling. He's walked 3, struck out 3. John Tilgus has allowed 4 runs, but only 1 of them has been earned. Larry Meyer batted in 2 runs for Monona in the 2nd inning. Mick Ferguson will be leading off for the Bulldogs here in the bottom of the 3rd, the only batter who did not come to the plate in the 3-run 2nd inning for Monona. Remember, the 2A championship will follow in about a half an hour or so after the conclusion of the 1A championship, and it's going to match Davenport Central, the runner-up last year, against the hometown team from Marshalltown. It's not been an easy road to the state finals for either of those teams either, so I think that we're all 3 expecting that one to be a close match.
Well, that'll be a noisy one, that's for sure, with the hometown crowd here.
Fouled straight back by Ferguson, leading off the 3rd for Monona. Wearing number 20, center fielder. Bounced out to 3rd in the 1st inning. Takes a strike. Took something off of it and came in across the heart of the plate. Ferguson checks with Heel, the coach, down in the 3rd base coach's box until just goes into the delivery. He takes the ball. It's 1-2. First baseman for Bancroft St. John's Ducey is pretty deep, almost to the edge of the outfield grass. There's a smash back to the pitcher. 1 hopper, and there's 1 down. Ferguson goes out from pitcher to first. McCune, the designated hitter, grounded out to the first baseman unassisted in the 2nd inning. 1 for 5 in the state tournament so far. There have been a lot of heroes in the tournament. Bouncing ball to Minky. Make sure of that one. You could hear the ping off that metal bat.
Gains his composure and makes a fine play over at first. Good stretch by the first baseman.
Lanny Cleefoot, number 15. Kirkeberg bounces one back to the pitcher again, and the inning is over. A 1-2-3 inning for Bancroft St. John's, with Ferguson bouncing out to the pitcher, McCune to the shortstop, and Kirkeberg to the pitcher. So at the end of 3 full innings of play, the score is Monona MFL 4 and Bancroft St. John's nothing. Back in a moment.
Spiderbeck, jazz cornetist and composer of the 1920s, is the first and one of the greatest jazz legends. In a swinging hour of his music, some of those who knew him best pay tribute to Dick Spiderbeck. At the Top.
Enjoy the tribute to Biderbeck, Saturday at 7 here on IEDN.
KIIN-TV, Channel 12, Iowa City, and KRIN-TV, Channel 32, Waterloo.
The favorite Monona MFL Bulldogs leading 4-0 in the top of the 4th inning, and I know that Vince Meyer, the Bancroft St. John's coach, isn't in this position very often. Dick, does this surprise you that they have gotten behind with some, I don't want to say mental mistakes, but some errors that his kind of teams don't normally make?
Well, the one thing about Vince, you have to go out and beat him. You're not going to outsmart him. He's been in this game too long, and if I was Monona, I certainly wouldn't be careless, and I'm sure Terry Heald is feeling that way at the present time. He doesn't want his boys to get careless because suddenly Bancroft can just erupt, and then we have some runs scored.
Doug Schultz swings and wishes he had that swing back again. Schultz, the left fielder, walked and was stranded first in the first inning. Batting here in the top of the 4th, leading it off for Bancroft St. John's, filling into the windup. Left-hander comes in high.
I think you would have to say on paper, MFL is the favorite. Sentimentally, I'm sure here in the stands, Bancroft St. John.
Doug Schultz bounces it back to the pitcher, so we're getting a lot of pitcher to first plays here in the middle innings of the State 1A championship. Doug Schultz bouncing out from Randy Filling, the pitcher, over to Dennis Wagner at first, and that brings John Tilgis, the pitcher, to the plate. Big number 15, he's a senior. He bounced out to the pitcher in his first at bat and takes a breaking ball from the left-hander across the outside corner at the knees, and it's 0-1. One away. 4th inning, 4-0. Monona over St. John's. Outside.
Mr. Meyer says that this club is not a real heavy-hitting ball club. He says we have to kind of hunt and peck, you know, but they did come up with 5 singles in one inning, a big 6-run inning in one of their earlier tournament games.
Fly ball, that could drop fair. Nope, just about 2 feet foul. Right fielder Scott Kirkelberg gave it a good long chase, but it was out of his reach and bounced about a yard foul down the right field line. Dimensions 320 down the lines and 360 to straightaway center. Incidentally, Dick, we've got 2 light poles that come into play. What is the ground rule situation regarding the poles?
If a ball hits the fixtures, it's a dead ball. There will be no play off the pole. However, if it's a thrown ball, that's something different. The ball will be in play if it's thrown, but if it's a batted ball, it's a dead ball immediately.
Well, we've got light poles down both the right and left field lines, about 20 feet in foul territory, probably 40 feet behind the bags. After fouling off a pitch, Tilgus then watches one bounce to the plate, so the count is gone even at 2-2 with one out in the top of the fourth. Tilgus has 3 for 7 in the state tournament. There's a foul ball, a fly ball that was curving, slicing a little bit to the right, and it was hit a little deeper than it first appeared also. The wind did help that. It's blowing from third base out to right field, so he got pretty good wood on it and drifted all the way back to the fence where it was finally brought down by Monona's right fielder, Scott Kirkeberg. So Tilgus is out. That's 2 away, and Mike Ducey, the Bancroft first baseman, steps in. He walked and ended up at second in the second inning, leading off the inning, but they couldn't bring him in.
One of the fundamentals they tell all outfielders is always look at the flag before you go out each inning. See where the wind is blowing.
It's a great day for baseball here in Marshalltown. Flagpole in right center field shows Old Glory blowing from left to right. Ball and 2 strikes, 2 away. The batter, Ducey, 3 hits and 8 at bats, scored a run for the Johnnies in the tournament so far. Strike 3. He really came in with that fastball. And that, according to my count, is 4 strikeouts for Randy Filling. So that takes us through the first 3.5 innings of play with the score Monona MFL 4 and Bancroft St. John's nothing. We'd like to welcome viewers from our newest IPBN viewing areas of Channel 27 Sioux City, Channel 32 Waterloo, Channel 32 Council Bluffs, and Channel 36 at Red Oak. These new stations are UHF, so you may have to make adjustments to your antenna and television. If you have any questions about UHF reception in these areas, please contact your local TV serviceman or write to IPBN, Post Office Box 1758, Des Moines, Iowa, 50306.
Take it right back.
Terry Heel, the graduate of Cole College, has a 3-year record of 97 and 23 for the Bulldogs. So he's had an interesting young career too, hasn't he?
He certainly has, Dave. He started out and coached baseball 5 years at Monona, and then he decided to go into football coaching. He went to Edgewood Colesburg and coached football there 1 year, and then came back to Monona and has coached the last 5 years. Twice now he's been in the state tournament. The last year they had no classes. He was there in 1972. Lost to Mason City in extra innings. That was the year Mason City, coached by Elmer Starr, took the state championship.
Dennis Wagner, the Bulldog first baseman, leading off the bottom of the fourth with his team ahead 4-0. Count is 1-1. He got on in the air by shortstop Matt Menke and came on around to score on the Menke's second error of the inning back in the second. Wagner takes another strike. The big junior first baseman takes a look at Coach Terry Heel in the coach's box at third. He said apparently the count is 1-2. And it was a strike. I'm not sure whether it was a strike swinging or whether it was a strike on the outside corner call, but that's the second strikeout of the game for John Tilgus, and it brings to bat the third baseman, Pat Bowman, sophomore, who also got on an error and later scored in the second inning. The third and last run of that inning for the Bulldogs of Monona. There's a strike across the heart of the plate at the knees. Outfield shading this left-handed hitter a little bit to the right, and probably another step or so to allow for the wind that's blowing it will blow the ball to the right. There's a breaking ball on the inside corner.
The ball's breaking good with this wind, Dave.
And there, both of them are keeping it, nibbling at the corners. Good job. Good pitching work by John Tilges, who gets his second strikeout of the inning and third of the game. Pat Bowman goes down swinging. And here comes Randy Filling. That's spelled F-U-E-L-L-I-N-G. As Tilges gets set on the mound, goes into the windup. Filling, the pitcher for Monona, steps in, takes the first pitch for a ball. He's walked and scored, and walked again and was stranded at third. So he has no official times at bat. Another ball taken low and inside. Might be strategy on Tilges' part to put Filling on again and hope he can tire him out some more.
Help him to bake in the sun a little more.
There's the strike.
There again, he was out of the batter's box again. If he would have touched the ball with the bat, he would have been out. Whether it's fair or foul, it doesn't make any difference.
He has one hit in 5 at-bats as that ball bounces foul at the plate. Filling turns around, comes back.
Swing on that pitch sort of reminds me of the fact that Randy Filling does swing the bat a lot, and that's probably why he's up in the leadoff position.
Bouncing ball, could get through. Menke makes a nice play.
Beautiful play.
And gets his man. Matt Menke coming far to his left to pick it up at the bag and throws him out, so that should give Menke a little more confidence in himself. There it comes, bounces away from...
Nice play around the bag here.
And it got past the pitcher because Tilges falling away, and it bounced past him, but a nice play by the shortstop. So at the end of 4 complete innings of play, we go into the 5th inning now. Monona MFL 4 and Bancroft St. John's nothing. We'll be back.
Next, please. Hi there. Arthur Good. That's me. Let's see. It says here you worked hard. Very hard. You were a good husband and father. Very good. And you never cheated. Never. Except what? You watched Masterpiece Theater down there. Your wife watched Evening at Symphony. Your kids watched Sesame Street. Yeah, but what... Oh, Arthur, you never helped pay for all those pleasant hours of TV. You watched your public TV station and never became a member. Arthur, you cheated. You're a freeloader.
But I kept meaning to send a check. Can I pay now and get my wings?
I'm sorry, it's too late. It was down there that public TV needed your help.
Your membership in Friends of IEBN helps support public television in Iowa. Join now for as little as $10 a year. Send your check to Friends, Post Office Box 1758, Des Moines 50306.
Randy Filling taking his warm-up throws as we start the top of the 5th inning. He'll face Matt Menke, the shortstop, Bruce Schultz, the third baseman, and Mike Schultz, the right fielder.
How many times have you seen, Dave, when the fellow who makes the nice play in the field, he's always the first batter the next inning? Here we have Matt Menke. By the way, he's a cousin of Dennis Menke, who played with the Cincinnati Reds and Houston Astros.
Takes a strike. I was looking to see, Tilges now has retired 8 batters in a row, so he's really settled down to, after that air-filled 2nd inning of the Johnnies. Menke is 1-1 at the plate. He sacrificed back in the 2nd inning. Takes that strikeout side. 2 for 5. He scored a run and batted 1 in the first 2 games that the St. John's team has played in the state tournament this summer. 2-2. Top of the 5th inning. Nice crowd enjoying a beautiful fall afternoon in Marshalltown. There's a line drive single dropping into left field. So Menke leads off the top of the 5th inning with a base hit.
This is a big psychological lift for Bancroft. This is the first hit against Randy Filling. And this might take some of the pressure off of Randy Filling also, because now he doesn't have to worry about the no-hitter.
First hit for Bancroft St. John's off of Randy Filling, and it comes in the top of the 5th inning. Menke leading off at first. Here's Bruce Schultz at bat. Takes a strike, had a notion, and then watched it come across the outside corner. Bancroft St. John's fans down behind the Johnny's bench down the third baseline are trying to start a little noise, a little action. Schultz took that one across the knees over the right outside edge of the plate. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Filling stretches, looks at Menke at first and comes home, and a called strike 3.
That shows some determination on Randy Filling's part. He lost his no-hitter and then came back with 3 straight strikes and got the next batter.
Bruce Schultz has 1 for 4 in the tournament, and here's Mike Schultz, number 1, the right fielder, just a freshman. He flew out to center in his first at bat, and he's 1 for 6 in the tournament. He's batted in 1 run. Just a freshman. Big thrill for that youngster. Menke leading off at first. Filling comes in high. Filling with a record of 21-1, an ERA of 1.6 going into the tournament. There's a foul straight back over the crowd and out of play. And here comes the new coach in the third base coach's box for Bancroft, and Vince uses his own players down there for coaching purposes. I should think that'd be a pretty good idea too. That gives them.
The boys have to know their baseball if they're going to be down there. That's no position to be if you don't know what's going on during the ball game.
Looks like, see, the next batter up is Schneider after Mike Schultz. Count has gone full now, and the crowd somewhat disagreed with that last ball call. Umpiring has been outstanding in the tournament. Ball high. That puts Mike Schultz at first base, moves Matt Menke down to second, and it brings up a pinch hitter. Number 39 for Bancroft St. John's is Kerry Schneider, a junior, 5'10", an outfielder, 165-pounder. Kerry Schneider batting for Tony Schneider. Tony struck out in the 3rd inning. One out. Bancroft with runners at first and second. And they're fighting from behind. They trail 4-0 here on the top of the 5th. They won a state summer high school baseball championship game. A strike from Phillips. He's gone more to fastballs, it looks like, Dick.
Yes, he threw a curve to the last batter, and it went high. It didn't look like his curveball was working as it was earlier in the game.
Kerry Schneider takes it inside. 1-1.
Filling has thrown a lot of pitches. He's been on base. He's done a lot of base running.
Swing and a miss.
Now he's rearing back.
Schneider looks bigger than the program calls him 5'10" and 165. Big 39 in the back of that white uniform. Filling stretches and comes in high and outside. Mo, I should compliment you while we're talking about the programs. It's I'm sure that must be a lot of last-minute work, but you really get a lot of information that helps us and also helps the fans a great deal. So Kerry Schneider, the pinch hitter, comes in and Filling strikes him out. That's 6 strikeouts for Filling. And it brings up the leadoff batter, Randy Ray. Struck out in the 1st, walked in the 3rd. 2 down. That relieves the pressure on the Bulldogs somewhat, but only momentarily, as Ray lines a single down the left field line, and coming in to score is Menke without a play. stride shot down the left field line over the third base bag and lands fair by several feet. Quickly picked up by the left fielder for Monona, Randy Bowen, and got it into his cutoff man so that he prevented the runners from advancing any further than first and second.
Without giving away secrets,
there goes that smash down the left field line.
I don't think Matt Menke touched home plate. I don't know if we'll have that on the replay or not, but didn't look like he touched home plate on that.
Here he comes as he rounds third. Brian Ray takes a strike.
Too late now, because after the next pitch, you cannot appeal anybody missing the base.
Mike Schultz, the runner at second, and Randy Ray, the runner at first, and the batter is Brian Ray, the catcher, and he reaches for a high outside fastball. The count is 0-2 with 2 out. The score now, Monona MFL 4 and Bancroft St. John's 1 in the top of the 5th inning. This is a scheduled 7-inning game. The runners lead away at first and second. Filling stretches, checks second, comes in with a strike. Brian Ray, the catcher, watches that fastball come in at the knees for the strikeout to the side. To credit that to Randy Filling in the 5th inning. 1 run on 2 hits, and so after 4.5 innings of play, the score is Monona MFL 4 and Bancroft St. John's 1. For those of you watching today who enjoy the other many fine programs on IPBN, there is a way you can personally become involved in public television in Iowa. Friends of IPBN is an organization of over 5,000 individuals and businesses that support a common interest, public television in Iowa. For a minimum $10 yearly membership fee, you and your family can become friends and receive a copy of IPBN's program guide, Advance Magazine. Just mail your minimum $10 membership fee to Friends, Post Office Box 1758, Des Moines, Iowa, 50306.
I'm surprised you fellows haven't asked me what MFL stands for. I get all kinds of questions like BCL and LDF during the season. We send out the pairings, you know, for the tournaments. And,
it's not quite so much the problem, what is it, but where is it?
I know what the M stands for.
Well, I tell you, MFL, that's the communities of Monona, Farmersburg, and Luena. It's up in Clayton County. They play some great baseball up in that area, up in the northeastern part of the state. And I mentioned, too, that Monona has really had an exceptional summer. That is for ball fans up in that area, because their girls' team was rated #1 most of the season, unfortunately lost in the district final.
These are some of the signs that are around the outfield, behind the outfield fence.
That's the assistant Marshalltown basketball coach's house that you can see that from. And I understand that sign was...
see, the Blue Devils got one in right below it there on the wooden fence.
I think that Bobcat sign was partially torn down. It's back up again.
There's a bunt attempted, and he's going to beat it out without a play. Larry Meyer leading off the bottom of the 5th inning. Perfectly bunched down the third base line, catching the third baseman and the pitcher back a little deep. And the third baseman came in and fielded the ball, Bruce Schultz, but saw that Meyer was at the bag and he didn't waste the throw. So the Bulldogs apparently want to try to get that 1 run back. Tim Schultz, Monona catcher. That gives Meyer his 2nd hit of the game. He batted in 2 runs back in the 2nd inning. He's 2 for 2 with a sacrifice in the 1st inning. Here's the catcher, Tim Schultz. Struck out and slide to center. Tilges takes that stretch, looks at the runner. There he goes. Throw is high to second, and the base is stolen by Meyer.
I think the fake bunt was more or less to protect the runner going down.
There he goes, breaking with the pitch. And he had a good break. but throws high, and he slides in under as the second baseman makes a leaping stop of it to save it from center field. And so Meyer at second, as popping a foul ball out of play behind third base is Schultz. Didn't see it, but a spectator made a pretty good catch down there. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. Monona MFL leading 4-1. That's part of the colorful crowd. It's been an appreciative crowd too. They have enjoyed the tournament games. It's just been a good tournament. Well, Tim Schultz may not think so, as he swung and struck out on a bad pitch into the dirt. So he's 0 for 3, and Randy Vogt, the cleanup hitter, steps in, the left fielder. Senior, he singled in the first inning, got an RBI, and then bounced out to the first baseman unassisted. Meyer leading off at second. There's a line drive deep into left field. Pulled down by Doug Schultz. Tough play. Sun's getting a little low, isn't it? That sun field out there.
Yes, it is, and he's looking right into the Dome Gymnasium at Marshalltown. That's what Notre Dame did all yesterday, hit line shots, but they were right at somebody.
Okay, let's see if we can follow the line shot into left field, and maybe you can tell a little bit about the difficulty because it was hit on a line. It wasn't up in the air. That's 2 down. Ferguson, number 20, center fielder, bounced out to third and bounced out to the pitcher. 2 away, runner at second, the ball is low and away. Bottom of the fifth inning, Monona leading Bancroft St. John's 4-1 in the 1A championship game. In the 2A championship to follow, it'll be Marshalltown against Davenport Central, the largest school in the state. Foul straight back. Ball and 2 strikes to Ferguson. 2 away. Ferguson, as we mentioned earlier, made the game-ending play in the first game, last inning, when he caught a fly ball in center field and then threw a strike home to catch the runner trying to score after the catch, and it ended the game. And they beat Grundy Center 3-2. Ball into the dirt, gets away from the catcher. There's going to be a play at third, but third baseman Bruce Schultz, seeing that the runner was going to be there in plenty of time, just made sure he stopped the bouncing ball thrown at him by Brian Ray.
That was a super stop by Brian Ray. He stopped that with his mask, believe it or not.
Another ball bounces in all the way to backstop, and that's going to score a run. So John Tilgis, St. John's pitcher, shows 2 straight bad pitches. I'm not sure that they'll both be called wild pitches. I would assume they would be.
I don't think Johnny Bench could have got that one.
So Larry Meyer scores from second on 2 successive bad pitches, and Monona go back out in front by 4, 5-1. There's 2 away, bases are clear, and Ferguson pops a foul out of play.
That was a very important run. Now Monona got that run back that St. John's scored earlier this inning.
There's ball 4. Ferguson walks. Is it a mandatory? Can a team make it to the state tournament with 1 pitcher?
Well, I know of a team that did that last year just about, Dave. I won't mention the team.
Top in there, let's go.
They finished at the top, as I recall.
Yes.
McEwen, the batter. Number 16, the designated hitter. Pegged to first. Ferguson gets back. There's a run in. Mick Ferguson is at first. He walked. Jim McEwen is the batter, who's grounded out to first and bounced out short to first. 2 away. Ball is low and outside. John Tilgis is having a struggle this afternoon. His mates have giving him some trouble. Oh, just out of reach of the first baseman. And he gets away from the right fielder. Here comes Ferguson around third. He's going to be held up there by Coach Terry Heel as right fielder Mike Schultz let it get through between his legs, but he hustled back and picked it up to prevent the run from scoring. So, give McCune. He gets down, but not quite far enough, and under the glove and between the legs, and Schultz, Mike Schultz, watches it go through, and the cardinal rule of not getting the glove down far enough. Dick?
That's right. That's the cardinal rule, all right. Get the glove down to the ground.
Almost thrown away again by Tilgus. Runners are on second and third now. That's Nick Ferguson at third, and there you see Jim McCune, number 16, leading off second. Pitch is outside. 2 balls, no strike. Tilgus appears to be, as I started to mention a while ago, he wouldn't be in 4 runs behind if it hadn't been for his mates committing some errors behind him. But a couple of wild pitches, and that hasn't helped his cause either. But he's one of the state's top pitchers. Record is 19-6, coming from one of the state's top high school baseball towns. Lenny Cleefoot watches it low and outside. Excuse me, that's Scott Kirkenberg. Cleefoot, the shortstop, is not batting. He's replaced by the designated hitter McCune. So Kirkenberg, who had singled and bounced out to the pitcher, draws a walk, and Vince Meyer comes out to talk to his battery. A run in, 2 out, and the bases loaded. Vince Meyer, 28th state tournament, 41 years at St. John's, and as Dick and Mo have alluded to, one of the most respected men in athletics in the state.
You know, we've mentioned this 2 or 3 times, and it might be getting tiresome, but we just can't get over the great feat that it is. There's been some checking done in all sports, basketball, everything, and nobody's been able to find any high school coach in the United States that's won that many ball games in anything. So it is really quite a feat for an Iowa high school coach.
Kind of the Adolph Rupp of Iowa high school athletics. And of course, Adolph got his start in Iowa too.
Of course, Adolph only won 879. I looked that up the other day.
This is Wagner batting, and he watches it get away, but not far from Brian Ray, the Johnny's catcher.
You know, some people use this word great loosely, but truly, Vince Meyer is a great high school coach.
Nick Ferguson at third, McCune at second, and over at first is Kirkenberg, and your batter is Dennis Wagner. Got on and scored on an error in the second inning rather, and then struck out in the 4th. We're in the bottom of the 5th, and there's the strike. Just a gorgeous day. I said fall day a while ago. I meant fall light. Partly cloudy sky, a nice breeze, comfortable 80-degree temperatures. There's a foul ball, I think. It doesn't as far foul as I thought. Long run for it, made by Bancroft St. John's right fielder Mike Schultz. So everybody returns to their bases. Nick Ferguson at third, McCune at second. That's Ferguson. And over at first is Kirkenberg. The batter, Dennis Wagner. 2 for 7 now in the state tournament. There's the appeal. And it's denied.
There was a case where the home plate umpire asked for assistance with the first base umpire and got a no.
Jack Fisher at the plate, and Marvin Bell, Van Horn down at first base, and there's strike three. So Wagner strikes out for the second time, and that gives, on the inning, Monona 1 run on 2 hits. With 3 walks, they leave the bases loaded. And at the end of 5 complete innings of play, the score now is Monona MFL 5 and St. John's Bancroft 1, and we'll be back in a moment.
This summer, IEBN hits the road again. Hi, I'm Mary Jane Odell. The mobile unit, the IEBN crew, and I will be visiting interesting places, people, and events in Iowa for a program called Assignment Iowa. So look for us this summer. We may be in your town. And watch for Assignment Iowa this fall.
KIIN-TV, Channel 12, Iowa City, and KRIN-TV, Channel 32, Waterloo.
A lot of baseball fans up at Bancroft, and there are a lot of them here, and they came prepared also with their own banners down the third base line behind the Johnny's bench. And right now, they're seeing their team trailing 5-1 in the top of the 6th inning. So Vince Meyer shaking his head and surveying the situation. Sends Doug Schultz, the third man in his batting order, up to the plate. Doug is the left fielder, a sophomore. He has walked and bounced out to the pitcher, and Filling goes into the windup and throws a strike.
You know, Dave, we got a little color in the Monona dugout, too. We have 3 bat girls, and also there's a 4th. Daughter Julie of Coach Terry Heel is in there.
Big hopping ball down to the third baseman with a lot of overspin on it. And he played it a little casually. Let's see if you can see.
Yes, he did. He took it on the
heel.
Short hop there and played it on the side, and the result was an error.
So the third baseman for Monona kind of stops to think things over, Pat Ballman.
I'm sure this is what Terry Heel doesn't want now, for his players to get careless, even though they have a 4-run lead.
Especially with what appeared to be a routine grounder, routine bouncing ball with a nice big handle.
Yes, and Bancroft has come back a number of times this year from behind, so you don't want to get careless.
Good shot from our third base camera. There's a fly ball straight away center field. Bouncing in for a hit. I don't know whether he could have got it or not. Did he slip with the floor as came down, or did he...
Well, it looked like he slipped afterwards, but I think he was uncertain as to how far the ball would go, Dave. It just looked like he was completely unsure of himself. There's a replay.
Mick Ferguson is the center fielder now. He comes over.
He just seems a little unsure of himself, whether or not to catch it or to pick it up on the bounce, and as a result...
he's lucky to trap it.
He's just lucky that it didn't go by him, right.
So he stops the ball, and Bancroft has a rally going. I might point out, too, that there certainly are no wet spots here because Marshalltown has been desperate for rain. They even have had a water shortage, I believe, here. So
they were told not to even water the field. They're that short of water here. That run in the last inning was important because that would have brought up the tying run. But now Bancroft has to get another batter on base in order for the tying run to come to the plate.
There's nobody out. Doug Schultz led off, got on an error on the third baseman. He's leading off there at second. John Tilgis, the pitcher, singled into center field. Now Mike Ducey, the batter, has taken a strike from Randy Filling. Ducey has walked and struck out. 3 for 8 coming into this game in the state tournament. Ducey, the first baseman, late swing and just barely bounces the ball behind the plate. Ducey is the 5th man in the Johnny's batting order. Runners at first and second. Filling wants to change baseballs.
After seeing Ducey swing there, I wouldn't be surprised if Filling will try to throw it past him on this next pitch.
Monona coach Terry Heel is pondering things that they aren't as good as he'd like to have them. And there are the three girls leading. Are they leading cheers in there?
They're the Bat Girls.
The ball is high and away.
Somewhere in the crowd there is his daughter Julie, too, 5 years old. She's also a Bat Girl.
Leading off second is Doug Schultz. Randy Filling climbs that hill again. He's got a 2-2 count on the batter, Mike Ducey. Nobody out. Inside, full count. Well, we told you that it's been an exciting series, and I just couldn't believe that this game was not going to be exciting before it was over. Nobody out, full count. Runners at first and second. Outside, bases are loaded.
I'm sure Randy Filling didn't want to see Mike Ducey get on base. Now the bases are loaded, and Matt Menke, who had the first hit of the ball game.
Third base, Doug Schultz. Second, that's Schultz. There's Tilges, the pitcher, at second. Mike Ducey, the first baseman who just drew the walk, is at first. Nobody out. And Terry Heel is coming out to the mound. Their next pitcher, as Heel comes to the mound, if he calls in another pitcher, it'll be Dennis Wagner, who's the first baseman. Dennis has a record of 19-3, and his earned run average is 1.68.
Monona has about 230 students in their top 3 grades, and they do have a fall football program, so most of those boys that are underclassmen, about 10 days from now, they'll be getting on those practice dogs and getting into football. Bancroft, they play fall baseball, so they'll probably take a week or so off, and Vince will lose his seniors, of course. Then they'll be right back at it again on the diamond.
There's part of the Bancroft crowd, and Matt Menke comes to bat. Matt singled and scored his last time up. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Menke takes a strike from Filling. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Monona MFL leading 5-1. Bancroft threatening. There's a sky-high pop-up, and I would assume it's an infield fly rule, so the batter is out. And that's one away. Infield fly rule applying when with less than 2 out and runners on first and second or first, second, and third, the ball is hit into the air in the infield, so
basically a protection for the runners because the shortstop could have dropped the ball and
got a triple play.
2 force outs at least, yes.
Bruce Schultz, the batter, the third baseman for the Johnnies, struck out twice. He's 1 for 4 in the state tournament. Runners lead away. There's a strike across the knees. Filling just rearing back. Schultz leading off at third base. Being held on over there by Pat Bowman. The pitch from Filling, strike 2. Got held high on the outside corner. Good shot from our center field camera. Filling the batter. Tim Schultz the catcher. And Bruce Schultz the batter. A little outside. MFL fans to our right groan on that pitch. 1 away, a ball and 2 strikes. Bases are loaded. Filling's pitch. Fouled out of play, almost into the parking lot. Stands are completely filled, and people are starting to overflow the stands now as Terry Heel leans on the fence. There's strike 3. Here's a big load for a freshman. Mike Schultz, number 1, the right fielder, slide out to center and has walked. And if Bancroft is going to score in this inning, they have 2 out, the bases loaded. He's going to have to help them up. There's Tilges leading off second, the pitcher hurrying back after the throw.
What a spot to be in for a freshman, huh, Dave?
1 for 6 in the tournament. Fouled back behind and out of play. Hit .231 on the year. He has an RBI in the tournament so far. Takes that inside. Ball and a strike. You wouldn't, you didn't know, you wouldn't believe he was a freshman.
He's got a good eye up there.
Very close stance. Runners lead away, and that's outside. Ball 3, strike 1. Mike Schultz, the batter. Right-hander, chokes up about 3 inches. Very close stance at the plate with his left foot out in front, almost in line with first base. Ball 4. Forces in a run.
You know, all that base running that Randy Filling did earlier in the game might have an effect now. Actually, the weather is a bit cooler than what it was earlier in the game when the sun was out more. But all that base running, and he's thrown a lot of pitches. Randy Filling has seen his share of the action out there on the field, both offensively and defensively.
There's a strike. Batter is Tony Schneider. Schneider is struck out. He lines one into right field. It could drop. It does. There's 1 run scoring. Another run coming to plate. And the runners advance to third base on Tony Schneider's 2-run single down the right field line. John Tilges and Mike Ducey come in to score.
Here we go again. Bancroft catching up. Just dropped in front of the right fielder, and a good throw might have had a close play at the plate, but it went up the first base line.
So Mike Schultz ends up at third, and Tony Schneider with that line drive single with 2 runs batted in. And the score now is 5-4. Monona MFL still leading. But the Johnnies have scored 3 runs here in the top of the 6th.
Coach Vince Meyer called an offensive timeout that time to talk to his runner on third base to advise him of what to do. That's the tying run over there at third base.
Okay, the situation is 2 out. Runners at first and third. Randy Filling is the left-handed pitcher for Monona. The batter is Randy Ray, the leadoff man. Ball gets away. Here comes the freshman Mike Schultz in to score.
This is another typical Bancroft St. John's game.
Vince looks like this is kind of what he expected.
Well, you notice all throughout, he did not get excited, and when Monona did score earlier in the game, he came out and calmed John Tilges, who then proceeded to get the next 8 batters out, and it was only until a batter bunted for a hit that anybody got on. There's the play again, and he slides. He doesn't know whether he touched the plate or not because he then touched it with his hand after the slide.
5-5 now with the Johnnies scoring 4 runs here in the top of the 6th. And there's a runner at second. There's 2 out. It all started. There's Terry Heel, the Monona MFL coach, coming back off the mound again, and Randy Filling is going to stay in. What is the rule? The coach can go out 3 times, Mo?
Third time.
Third time he has to take him out. Well, this all started on an error by the third baseman that permitted Doug Schultz a life, then a single, a walk, then a pop-up, a strikeout, a walk, and a 2-run single. There's a bouncing ball to the shortstop. Long throw. He got it. A really exciting inning. As Brian Ray, or Randy Ray, grounds out to shortstop here in the top of the 6th inning, and we've got a brand new ball game with 4 runs coming across on 2 hits and an error for Monona. So at the end of 5.5 innings, the score now is Monona MFL 5 and Bancroft St. John's 5. On Monday evening, Iowa Public Television continues its coverage of the popular Grand Prix Tennis Summer Tour. The Grand Prix Summer Tennis Tour features the world's finest professional men and women tennis players. This Monday night, watch coverage of the $75,000 Buckeye Boys Ranch Championships from Columbus, Ohio. Don't miss this award-winning television coverage of the Grand Prix Tennis Summer Tour Monday night at 7 p.m. on Iowa Public Television, IPBN.
Well, nothing helps a pitcher's confidence like a little support like that behind him. I noticed Dick Stilgis comes out there, and he's really firing that ball again now.
Boy, that has to do something to John. He struggled part of the game, and then he settled down, and now his team has tied the game. He's hungry now. They want to get back up to bat.
Some of the fans who have come to watch another exciting baseball game in this 1A series. They score 5-5 in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Bancroft has a job to do, and they came back and did it. So now Monona MFL lost only 6 times all year, and all 6 losses to 2A clubs.
You know, Bancroft is deceptive. They look very young out on the field, and this may be a psychological factor in their favor because the other team sees them and they might get a little careless.
Pat Bowman is the batter. Watches the strike come across the center of the plate. Looks like Tilgis is ready to really fire that ball now after they have come from behind. Swing and a miss. He's throwing harder now than I believe he was earlier.
Mentally, he's physically stronger.
Good point. Physically, he may not be any stronger, but mentally, he's physically stronger.
Yes.
Count is even, 2-2. Ballman has reached on an error and scored and struck out. He's just a sophomore, left-hander. He's their third baseman, and the count goes 4.
You can bet if he gets on what they're going to do. They're going to move him on because we're getting to the later stages of the game now, and 1 run will do it, perhaps.
There's the ball, and Ballman, the 9th man in the batting order, leads off the bottom of the 6th inning with a walk.
Well, here's the pitcher up to bat again, and the go-ahead run at first base. All you grandstand quarterbacks now, or I should say grandstand managers, I'm sure that everybody's thinking bunt here.
Randy Filling, the pitcher and leadoff batter, bounces it straight out front of the plate. No play at second. There is a play at first, and Filling sacrifices. Gets that potential lead run down to second. Filling has walked twice, bounced out to short, and now sacrificed. Larry Meyer steps in. He sacrificed in the first inning, got a 2-run single in the second, and singled and scored in the third. So he's 2 for 2.
He's bunted twice at the 3 times he's been at the bat. His last hit was a bunt, a beautiful bunt down the third baseline, so there's no telling what Larry Meyer will do. The second place hitter is usually a good bunter anyway.
Ball into the dirt. Brian Ray, the catcher, makes a good stop. Larry Meyer steps in, and there leading off second base is Pat Ballman. Pitcher John Tilgis for the Johnnies. Checks his runner, comes in. Bouncing foul ball off the plate. Bottom of the 6th inning. 1 out. Runner at second for MFL. And the score is tied at 5-5. We've had 3 extra inning games. See, the first round was Davenport Central and Cherokee. Went to 12. Then we've had a couple of 8-inning games. Is that right, Mo?
Right.
First round double-A, or 2A game. Ball comes in low. Tilgis having a little battle with his control now, too. Tilgis was on base and scored in that 4-run inning in the top of this inning. Another one low. 3 in about the same place. So it's 3-1. Larry Meyer the second baseman, a junior, batted .378 on the year. Slender right-handed batter. Hit one. That one is back there. It's a long fly ball. It's gone. That's Doug Schultz dejectedly looking over the fence. Larry Meyer gets his third hit.
Dizzy Dean always used to say there are two types of plays that you cannot do anything about. One, a base on balls, and the other you're seeing right now, a home run over the fence. You sit there in utter helplessness watching the ball go by.
Doug Schultz gives it an all-out effort as you see it bounce just out of the reach of his glove and over the fence. And that ball was not helped by the wind either. It's a crosswind, so that really was a blast by Larry Meyer, a two-run home run that puts Monona back in front 7-5, gives him his third hit and his fourth run batted in. Tim Schultz, the catcher, who has struck out twice and flied out to center, hits a hard-to-hit ground ball to second. This is Randy Vogt, the cleanup hitter. Outside. Singles knocked in the first run of the game for Monona. Since then, he's popped out to first and flied out to left. Lined out to left.
Dave, would you say that so far Larry Meyer has to be the hitting star of this ball game?
I'd say Larry Meyer was the hitting star of this game, Dick. Straight back, out of play. The state summer high school baseball championships on IPBN from Marshalltown. In the bottom of the sixth inning, 1A contest. 7-5, Monona MFL leading Bancroft St. John's on a two-run home run by second baseman Larry Meyer, just a junior. There's another fly ball, a foul ball, straight back. There's John Tilges on the mound. Came out with lots of... There's another well-hit fly ball. That one is way back there. It's gone.
That was a well-hit ball.
Comes the pitch from Tilges now. It's high. Yeah. Really got around on it. That really was a well-hit ball also. Not quite as high as Meyer's home run, but really drilled. You really got to admire these teams, don't you, man? They, the way both of them have fought back. You know, they really have... this is my kind of a ball game. I like to see runs scored. It's 8-5, Monona MFL over Bancroft St. John's, but I just have tremendous admiration for a team down 5-1 and comes back and ties up the ball game. And then the next half inning, the team that had been ahead and gave up that late comes right firing back.
Well, certainly the crowd has had a lot to yell for. This has been really an exciting fan game.
Tilges lost his control after those two shots have stunned him, I'm sure. A two-run blast over the left field fence by Larry Meyer, and a one-run shot on almost identically the same spot by Randy Vogt.
You know what's interesting? Both Randy Vogt and Larry Meyer, as well as Randy Vogt's brother Dan, went to the Orlando Baseball School this spring. Whether there's any connection there or not, I don't know, but
But
both of them hitting a home run.
Balls don't travel as far in that Saul Lear down there.
No, it sure doesn't.
Mick Ferguson is the batter. Bounced out twice and walked. Bounces a foul out of play. Back to the screen. You can see the crowd there that's been filtering in all afternoon, and the bleachers are nearly completely filled. Vince Meyer, pensive. His team comes from 4 runs back. And then now they've slipped behind by 3 again after having tied it up. So Ferguson strikes out. And we go into the 7th inning, top of the 7th, with the score, Monona MFL 8 and Bancroft St. John's 5. And we'll be back in a moment.
IPBN presents Fair 76. We're readying the mobile unit for fair duty, and this year we'd like to issue a special invitation to you. The telecast of Fair 76 will come to you from a studio in the radio and TV building on the State Fairgrounds. If you'd like to be a part of the audience, simply join host Mary Jane Odell at the studio before the 9 p.m. telecast begins. It's Fair 76, August 21st through the 29th at 9 o'clock here on the Iowa Public Broadcasting Network.
Bancroft St. John's coming to bat in the top of the 7th, trailing again by 3. They came up with 4 runs in the 6th inning to tie it up, only to see 2 home runs, a 2-run blast by Larry Meyer and a single run shot by Randy Vogt, put Bancroft behind by 3 runs again. So, in the top of the 7th, Bancroft St. John's sends up to the plate Brian Ray, the catcher, second man in the batting order. He has bounced out to the pitcher, hit into a short to second double play, and has struck out. He takes a strike at the Navy's on the inside corner. Randy Phillips throws a breaking ball. 3-run lead to Monona MFL. There's the ball in the dirt. Blocked by Tim Schultz, bounces up over his head and down